Dakota has been pretty good about being pet on his right side. Never hurts to start with a little bribery, though. Here I wanted Dakota to approach me, so I drew back away from him, hoping he would come towards me. I try to always remember to keep my body weight shifted away from him and not push my hip into his side. This body position is very inviting. Now it was time to work with Aries. Notice my weight is mostly on my left leg, with my hip pointed away from him and my eyes looking down. At about 20 feet away, it was clear Aries was uncomfortable with my approach. So as he turned around, I decided to draw back a step to make him feel more comfortable. I took another step closer and waited as he decided how he was going to feel about it. I don't want to continue to approach him when he is clearly concerned about my proximity. Aries seems most comfortable in that corner. I try to work with him most often there so that he can have some consistency. With Mustangs, the most important thing you can do is be consistent. I try to keep my body weight shifted away from him and my body posture quiet. Aries never did quite settle down this day. Today I wanted to introduce Dakota to ropes. You'll see why in a minute. Here I go in to pet him, but I wait as he shifts his weight and his attention away from me. Right here he comes back, so I go ahead and reach in for a pet. A couple times this week, Dakota had showed me his butt and offered to kick when I asked him to move. Today, I wanted him to realize that he had to move away when I asked him. I don't want him to become concerned or worried, but I do want him to move away when I ask him to and to stop when I ask him to. By stepping towards his shoulder, I am effectively cutting off his forward motion and asking him to stop. The same applies when I ask him to change direction. I walk towards his front end until he turns around. As our relationship develops, our communication will become more clear. In horse society, horses move each other by pushing from behind. I'm doing exactly what his mother or his siblings would have done. And just to make sure, I want him to know we are still buddies. Every horse has a preferred side. Dakota likes his right side much better than his left. Earlier, I talked about waiting until the horse had turned towards me to touch them, and here's why. Although Dakota is paying attention to me with his left ear, his body is slightly turned away from me, and he still looks kind of stiff. In this position where he's turned away from me, he is far more likely to leave, which he does. In the future, I will want Dakota to turn in towards me, into the center of the pen rather than to the outside. Here I don't ask him to do that, but his turn was quiet and a little playful. Dakota stops in this corner and puts his butt towards me a bit defiantly. That's why I touched him with the rope. Since the left side is Dakota's more difficult side, I wanted to end the session with him making an effort to come towards me while I was on his left side. That's a great ending point. As you can see, even at the start of the day, Aries is already more comfortable with my proximity. I stayed by the pole for most of the day, so the video footage just wasn't that interesting. Today I introduced the boys to the bamboo pole. I included this video clip to show you just how flighty both boys still were. Dakota is always quite inquisitive, which is good for Aries to see. He is watching just off camera. And of course, Dakota thinks it's edible. The reason to use a bamboo pole is so the horses can get used to being touched without having to have a human so close to them. You want to be able to touch them everywhere with the bamboo pole. Here I run the pole down Dakota's legs, which he's uncomfortable with. I want him to learn that leaving won't make the pole go away. I try to make sure I stay behind him so that he feels he can always move forward if he has to. A horse's stomach is a very vulnerable location. I'm very impressed he had such a small reaction. He's still clearly uncomfortable, though. I go to touch Dakota's legs again. This time, he tries to leave by walking forward. I try to keep the pole on his legs so that he learns that the stimulus will not go away if he tries to leave. What's nice about the bamboo pole is that you can use it to creep up to them and touch them. Here again, I want Dakota to learn that leaving isn't the answer. Given Aries' reaction to the poll earlier, I wasn't optimistic that this would be a good day. Boy, did he prove me wrong. Unlike Dakota, Aries is more comfortable with me on his left side. Rather than holding the pole low and sneaking it closer, I held it higher so he could see it better. He's definitely not sure about that pole, but at least he's thinking about it rather than reacting to it. I step away here for a moment because I don't want the passing truck to spook him and cause him to panic. I love watching his calm, thoughtful expression as he sniffs the pole. My friend suggested we put a few blades of grass at the end of the pole to see what he'd do. He seemed to enjoy the snack. Watch his left ear as it tracks the movement of the pole. Here he considers whether it's safe enough to itch his leg and decides to go for it. Aries made spectacular progress this week. I am very impressed by him. The following day, he allowed me to put the bamboo pole on his back, but sadly I was alone, so there's no evidence of it.